Bom dia, bom dia. We are here on the podcast, me and Rafael Castillo.
Bom dia.
We are very happy to be here, sharing a little bit of another topic. Today we want to talk a little bit about emotional intelligence. Okay, what's how you control and what Jiu Jitsu can bring to you.
And to manage your emotions.
To manage your emotions and to get to have more control over it. Like, we have so much emotions that happen from many kinds of situations, right? Personal, family, friends, life in general is an emotional battle. And I see a lot of things that Jiu Jitsu have brought to me to have a better self-control. And another little curiosity is that I have felt a little challenged later with the ice bath I did and some cold shower. I have applied a rule for me for the whole summer to take only cold showers. This whole summer I'm going to take only cold showers.
I won't take to that challenge.
Yes. So I think Houston is a good place to do that. It's very warm in here the whole summer. And I think I'm gonna even install an outside shower in my house so I can enjoy some cold showers out there. And by the way, in 2 weeks we're gonna have the ice event here in the house. I invite a lot of the students to come to the house. We're gonna share some food and we're gonna share some ice. My friend Aaron's coming from Florida. I met him at the summit in California, and he introduced us to the breathing, to ice, to the Wim Hoffman method. That's the breathing exercises and ice immersion. And it was really challenging, it was really good. I'm very excited to share that with the students here. It's nice that Aaron come all the way. I'm gonna spend the weekend and we're gonna have some fun here. Yeah, share food and ice. I never shared food and ice before. This is the first time. I usually like share food. But food and ice is gonna be the first time.
It's totally different,
Yeah.
If you want, you can share the experience that you had before on Jackson went to a Jiu Jitsu summit, and that's when he met Aaron, and Aaron helped. I think it was the whole event that did the ice challenge, right?
Yeah, the whole event was approximately 60 people. And the night before, when we were having the last conversation of the day, they said that tomorrow the challenge is going to be an ice bath. Commute, we're going to join everybody and we're going to go and do an ice bath. And what I thought first is going to be like, they're going to put a lot of ice in the pool and everybody's going to go inside, or how that's going to work. But actually, I thought it was a joke in the beginning. And then they say, let's go outside and help you unload the ice. And that was a lot of ice. And I understood it would be like these big pools, like these portable, small pools, plastic ones, and full of ice. Like 7 people by the time immersed in the ice for 2 minutes.
So a bunch of
it was really good. We did some exercise before, some breathing exercise. We got mentally prepared a little bit before. And Aaron said that everybody can do it, and pretty much everybody did. Like, very few people didn't felt comfortable to do it.
I was gonna ask you, like, there's some people that were
very few, and it's totally fine. You know, it's totally fine. It's good. Maybe sometimes you just have to watch and listen what people give you, the feedback they give. You know, I thought that everybody was super rewarded, you know, was a good reward for everybody, because it's kind of, oh man, 2 minutes inside the ice, I never did that. And it's hard, you know, the first time it's really hard. I actually start to panic a little bit in the beginning, and Aaron looked at me and said like, hey, chill out, just relax. And and then from that moment that he told me to relax, it's totally changed the experience for me. And talking with Aaron after, he said like, hey professor, how many times you told your students in the mats to relax? You know, and that's brought me like, create this bridge between this moment that I had there, that I was panicking the ice, and the moment that the student is under technique and under bad position and he panicked right there. You know, so it's all about how you control this kind of emotions and this kind of mental challenges. You know?
Have a cool connection.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this thing can really go well together.
And how are we going to do here? We're going to do the same portable...
Yeah, I'm going to get the pools, I'm going to buy the ice.
Oh, man.
order some food and join everybody, man. This morning I sent a video for the guys to watch. Get more into this thing. Yes, let's get some of the heads to start to get some ice cold showers and go from there. Yeah. So the fact that it's really difficult to control your emotions. Did you ever had an experience of a challenge in jiu-jitsu that you have to deal with that, or like a personal thing that's get you sometimes to think that you're not able to do something, like your mind is blocking you, is creating this wall in between you and your goal and your dreams. You told me today about the house thing, that you like to watch these videos of big houses, give you a motivation of achievement and conquering a dream. Maybe the dream is not your house, but it's just like conquering something.
Yeah. I was sharing with Jackson a little bit on what I saw before, by a guy that I listened like a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying basically the theory of you want to change your state so that way your mind goes with it, and to give you like a simple connection with it. And I told Jackson about it, like when you listen to music, your brain just changes. You start wiring differently. Like you start to have a little bit more exciting emotion, depending on the music that you listen to, of course. If you listen
if
to
something that
music,
you like.
Yeah, if you listen to sad
your
music,
kind
you're
of
gonna be
music.
sad. Yeah, you listen to happy music, you're gonna be happy. So it depends on the music, of course. And then if you love listening to whatever classic music, electronic or Latin music, whatever genre that you like, you're gonna get different chemistry connections in your brain, and then that makes you automatically just feel better. And for me, I was sharing before the podcast that just changing the state in the morning just helps me to already put myself in the right state of mind, in the right positive mind that I want to be every day. And that helps a little bit on the emotional side of knowing myself a little bit enough to understand that maybe I need that daily reminder, and sometimes we miss how to manage our emotions a little bit, just because we think every day, we think like past, present, and future, and I will give that connection in just a second. That sometimes we think that every day we have to be in a certain emotion state, and you can control that by doing those physical exercises. Just maybe breathing for you, maybe listening to music, maybe exercising in the morning, maybe reading a book, maybe watching a video like I do sometimes. That like with the house, for me, like you said, it's not about the material part. It's just more of the feeling of freedom, that just the house or the cars or just the space just makes
in
you feel
freedom
different.
it's mean financial freedom too.
Yeah.
You can't have that kind of freedom if you don't have your financial side, especially today's it's very important, for you to build something that's gonna give you a decent life and something that you like to do and that can generate the right income for you to live the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to combine those two things, and people really misplace those things sometimes. Like what's the goal? What's happy? What's happy? And it's not everybody that have a lot of material things that means that they have self-control and they have a lot of good health mind.
Or they're even happy.
Yeah,
like you said.
and it's interesting. I got myself in this last month. Now I had this down, negative kind of behave, and I don't go often that route, but I felt this couple of weeks that there's something like trying to drag me and don't let me do the things that I believe that they're right for me. And I don't set a goal, it's just come back naturally. I start what I use to come back to my balance. It's I start to ask myself, like, do I have to lose everything what I have to give value to it? Because I know there's a lot of people out there fighting to be where I am. You know, and I use this as a motivation, like, man, I have so much, why I'm not getting this balance right now?
Yeah.
You know, and this is a couple of weeks ago, you know, you go through some hard times and then you start to think a little negative, and I believe that builds even more negativity and things go a little bit
Yeah, it can
slower.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one way like to judge that I see, like, is a guy that's physically looking okay in a traffic light asking for money, right? We look at that guy sometimes and you think like, why he's not working, why he's not doing something for his life. He's a guy that he looks like a normal person, you know, unless that maybe he dressed a little dirty and, you know, but what's going on in that guy's head, you know? Did you ever stop and talk with one of those persons? I did, and most of them, they have a life story, you know, they have a life story. They were somewhere at some point in life. They have kids, they had family, local family, people that live around here, this neighborhood that I met asking for money in a traffic light. And it's just they lost it. They just lost the control of their minds. You know, they cannot control it anymore. They start to believe in things that lead them towards that thing, alcohol, and living in the street. You know, and it's crazy. It's fast too, right? It's fast. Like you can go for a balance to a dark place with a matter of a day or two.
And that's why one of the things that I started doing this and basically backpacking from what you were saying, or transitioning what you were saying about asking yourself the questions, is one of the cool things that I learned recently, is that negative emotions are not negative emotions. They're just messages that your body is sending you, so that your brain is sending you, like, hey, you have to pay attention to this and see what it is. So it's not negative. It's just something that is just sending you a signal.
Warning.
Yeah, it's sending you a signal. They just sometimes we give, and this is something that we talked about before, that nothing has meaning unless you give it meaning to whatever you think it's meaningful. So
right and wrong, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that your perspective is giving whatever you feel the meaning or the emotion that you are feeling in that second. So you give it to it. So you're creating your own story or your narrative or whatever your brain is creating. Your own experience are creating that. So when you have that negative emotion, where we have it, because we all have it, you can interpret it as a message, or you can interpret it as negative, and then you start stacking down. That sometimes happens to be depression. I'm not at all professional, so I don't know any of those tools just yet, but I'm learning them because I want it for myself, and I wanted to help other people to how to manage it. So that's one reason why, if you change your state, if you do something physically to just put yourself in a great just state of mind, of a positive way of thinking in that moment, physically, whatever it is, whatever your activity is, then you're gonna be for the rest of the day much better. And then sometimes here and there you have to do it in between the day, so that way you keep that fuel in, and that has helped me to be more smarter with my emotions and control it a little bit better. For example, today, and I share with my partner, with my girlfriend, and maybe sometimes, and I give you this example because it happens. And for example, I used to just see her and maybe give her a little kiss or whatever, and then maybe like a quick hug. So I was like, I want to change that to something that you maybe make our experience a little bit better. So I give her a longer hug, just a longer hug, so that, because, and this is for everybody, if you hug somebody, you just feel much better for just a few seconds more. We just love having that connection with another person. So just a little bit, a hug longer, it just feels better, and then you're starting to associate the relationship or that interaction way better than if you keep doing the same, and maybe you have problems for a few weeks or whatever, but you keep doing the same thing every single time. You're saying hi, or you're saying like same on the same treatment.
Emotions, and then you expect the person to.
Yeah, and then you just change the interaction of just hugging a little bit longer, or just a little kiss a little bit longer, or just something that would just
Neck
change the
massage,
interaction.
head massage,
Whatever you
feet
want.
massage, another deeper level.
Yeah, if you want to change just the state of the whatever partners, you can be a partner, maybe interaction with at your job, that you say good morning to everybody, and then hi, maybe I shake hands, or maybe just a coffee or something like that. Just change the interaction. That would change the state of everything. You start enjoying everything more, and instead of doing the same thing every single time, you have to learn what it is you feel and you associate the interaction with, and then you start to change it and changing the pattern, and that breaks whatever feeling that you had before. You're like, oh, I enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you started doing whatever you enjoy.
So what do you think that Jiu-Jitsu brings to help this kind of balance, this emotional balance? What's you think that's really, Jiu-Jitsu is becoming very popular, more and more and more, fighting anxiety and emotion and depression and people with socialization problems, you know, and those topics, they are probably the ones that's benefit me the most.
Yeah.
You know, the socialization aspect of it.
I want a story for you that was going to actually already tell you. Eventually today I was going to tell you that I have a private session every Mondays with a little kid, 5-year-old, and he has problems. He's a little timid on that side. He's a little bit shy. It's not a problem. He's just I started to talking with his mom and saying that I had the same problem when I was a kid, meaning that for me speaking up was like
challenging.
Not only challenging, but for me I felt that people would laugh at me if I talk loud, or if I show not my emotions, but just show my real personality, if that makes sense. And I've started watching. I know that you have seen this many times. Maybe this actually confirms what have you feel like sometimes even the adults, it happens with the kids, when they have the right tools to defend themselves, that's when they start speaking up, because they know they can do something about it. Yeah. So whenever, and this is for everything that you have in life, I started realizing. I heard a podcast about it. I forgot the expertise about the person, but it's just they were explaining basically the definition of confidence. The definition of confidence was, and this is just paraphrasing, is the doing something, or doing the strategy, or doing whatever execution you're doing, having a positive result every single time. That's confidence. That you're doing something that is giving you a positive reward. Every single time that you're doing it, you're being rewarded. A fear or anxiety or insecurities or whatever means that you're doing, or you're executing on a strategy that's not working. So that means that you're gonna have anxiety.
Yeah.
That means that you're gonna be insecure because it's not working. Whatever you're doing, the same time, everything the same, is not working.
Interesting.
So it's cool. When I saw that, when I realized that, and when I connected actually with yesterday, the kid was doing the same thing before with a couple of kids. Now that he does jiu-jitsu, he knows the games, so he knows how to defend himself a little bit. So now he's opening it a little bit more on the verbal part. That is the most important part of that game. And now that he knows that part, now that we play just the games of jiu-jitsu, now, like I told him, like, hey, we're gonna do once a week, once a week or once a class. Just gonna say one time the verbal part, just, hey, stop it, please, just one time. And then when he feels confident about it, we keep increasing, like nice and slow, making it easy and simple for him, and making it not as panicky like he think it is. And they happen. And we talked about this story already. One other kid, super timid, but this was a fast change when this kid he got in. He didn't even look at anybody's eyes, like nobody. And then he just started training jiu-jitsu, and then the kid just, in a couple of weeks,
Rebecca.
Yeah, it can be, not her.
I spoke with her yesterday. I could not believe, man, how much she came and she talked with me in the class. I could not believe, just changing that tells me, like, in her case, that she was a very timid child, and we assisted her to, she was getting badly bullied in the school, and
bad.
she came like really disbelieving on herself. And yesterday I was just like talking with her, and she was telling me stories and things that she would never do before. I don't know how much she behave outside yet. You know, if she have that same, enthusiasm and like courage to go and talk with people.
It's a little bit better.
But she is at least doing that inside the gym now, so it's a start. You know, it's a start for her, like to come and give her opinion on something. You know, and that's bring us a lot for the questioning in the classes, right? I think like this is one of the things that I see the students doing in the class, and it really reflects with your self-control, your mind control, you know, your intelligence, emotions, and how you control those. You're in front of a group and you have a question about the technique that's being shown in the stage, and you want to ask, but you don't know if that question is right or not, right? And then you have that little battle with yourself, like, should I ask this or not? Did they cover it already? They're gonna cover it later? And how you prevent yourself to don't be scared to fail in that question, right? I see there's students, they ask questions that have no much meaning, but the meaning is, hey, I'm here and I'm asking something. I feel like that they use in that moment, that opening, like, hey, does anybody have any question? Please ask question. That's important for me, because it really is. I really learn a lot from questioning. You know, when you encourage the students to question and you prepare, you teach them how to ask too. You know, like you give them that funnel, like, hey, we're talking about this subject here, and do you have any question about this? You know, that they're using that thing, like, just, some of them ask because they want to know about the technique. Some of them ask just to ask, and others compulsively ask. You know, there's those students that they, you know, they're gonna ask something. You know, so it's hard for me to like put all these three things in the right place. You know, like how to ask the technique itself, how to let that people ask a question just because she wanna socialize. And she was not really paying attention, and like, oh, okay, can you show one more time? Can you just explain that part one more time? You know, and so I usually go, like, I try to work more personal with those people that ask questions all the time. And then we have another student in the morning that's asked like super intelligent questions and like crazy, like sensible, like really challenge us. And we always create something out of his questions. You know, we always learn. There's always a learning experience out of his questions. You know, and it's hard to ask questions in Jiu-Jitsu classes. You know, if you don't give the right opening and the right subject, like, guys, here, you know, it's, how do you make those questions like benefit everybody in the room and give this emotional control to be able to, hey, what's that again? What's this? Hey, professor, can you come here? You know, hey, we did this, what do you think about this? You know, and do you think that's correct? You know, like this socialization is already like a lot of building there. You know, I would probably have problems in my younger age with socializing if Jiu-Jitsu didn't come in my path, you know, because it's really like leading me to this crazy amount of friends since day one, you know, like with the, I already like make friends pretty easy. When I walked in the Jiu-Jitsu community, I was like, wow. And I think that's really gave me a lot of confidence and a lot of emotional control.
I was gonna say that, do you think that the training, and you were confirm it, but do you think that the training helped you to manage your emotion a little bit more because you were in that state of maybe panicking more? And that's one of the things that we started with the ice bath, is because the ice bath puts you in that position right away when you enter. You're already panicking, surviving
from chilling at home to survival mode.
And that sometimes we had a video pretty recent that we put on that we talk about survival mode in Jiu-Jitsu, that sometimes people think when they're whatever position in the mats, maybe can be in the bottom, probably most of the time in the bottom, that people panic and then go crazy, try to explode and bench off people out of the way, and just get out of there, or trying to get some space, and then get more in Jiu-Jitsu, because it's so defensive. The more you try to go aggressive, the worse it is for that person. So maybe, do you think that those type of positionings help you to manage your emotions in your life, basically, in what you were doing jiu-jitsu?
Oh yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, jiu-jitsu really give you a lot of challenges along the way.
You have a bunch of stories that you were in a situation that people want to fight. You have bouncer stories that you can
to
tell.
avoid
Yeah.
to avoid
To
the
avoid
fight.
the fight. Yeah, to avoid the fight a lot.
is
Yeah.
it's hard. Yeah, I work as a bouncer for many years, maybe like 2-3 years if I put all together. And you go crazy, you see crazy stuff, man. It's like you have
That's
to
when
use
you get
jiu-jitsu
tested.
so much physically and mentally because you know people drink and they become extra confident.
False confidence.
Yeah, like very much like confidence. They know a lot when they drink, and it's a lot of arguments, and you have to listen to those people and control them and deal with that different level of emotion that time. You know, you're just at work and you want everything to flow well to go home after work safe, and not everybody is there with the same purpose. You know, some people come and they want to prove a point of something and they drink too much and I don't know, maybe somebody lost a phone. There's so many cases, so many things that can go wrong in a bar, in a nightclub.
Yeah.
You know, so the security team, sometimes we don't even pay attention. I do pay attention a lot because I was one of them. So anywhere that I walk in, I see the security environment and it can go crazy, yes. I remember one time this huge guy wearing a motorcycle jacket, you know those motorcycle leather thick jacket. So not just he was big and strong, but he was also with that shield on top of him, with that full motorbike clothes, no helmet, and he headlock one guy inside the club. He headlocked the guy here, and who takes that guy from that headlock there? And at the same time, when he was holding the guy here, his 2 friends, 3 or 2 friends that was with him, was robbing that guy that was in the headlock. They were like attacking the pockets and taking the phones and everything. You know, they're cleaning up everything. So I understood that pretty much they were like working together, you know, like nicking stuff from people.
Yeah.
And this guy, maybe they got in an argument or something. He headlocked that guy here, and the guy passed out here on the headlock, and everybody robbed him. And I had to go there and work and get that situation out. The first thing I did, I turned the sound of it was like there's not much people in that area where this happened. You know, it's kind of more isolated area in the club. So I went there and I turned off the sound. When I saw it, I turned off the sound and then like that's already like what's happened. You know, gave that thing.
Puts
and
everybody in.
Yeah, and then everybody like stepped back and radioed the other guys and everybody came and we controlled the situation. But yeah, you see stuff like, you see things like, things, I know jiu-jitsu a little bit, that's not give me the physical abilities to defend myself and take somebody off a situation, but give you that mental control, you know, like
that edge.
From watching something fun happen in the club to a chaotic situation, you know, and then how you act when what you do, and you know, it's interesting. Jiu-jitsu is a master of that for sure.
Most of them they happen in Brazil, right?
Brazil and UK, yes.
What do you think is it better balancing in Brazil or UK?
Now UK, there is the security teams are much well trained and there is more technology involved, you know, with radios and you know, plugs that you can communicate with everybody, so you pretty much connect with the whole team. You know, in Brazil it's not like that. You know, in Brazil there's more force.
Screaming the other guy.
There's more force in Brazil than in the UK for sure. Yeah, I think the law prevents a lot of the force in the UK. So yes, just to wrap it up, we're super excited for the ice bath challenge we're gonna have here in the house. Bring everybody and all the kids and families around. Everybody that wanna come and join us is gonna be really fun. I'm excited for Aaron that's gonna come and we're gonna do a podcast with him and talk about his experience in life and with ice and with jiu-jitsu. And a very interesting guy. I'm so glad that we connect in a way that he's gonna come visit us. And I'm very excited to see Rafael inside the ice, how he's gonna behave there.
Yeah, we're gonna panic
And
for sure.
not just Rafael, but like to see everybody that wanna join this challenge, like how you behave.
Reacting.
And I think doing a group like we did was much more fun
helps, I
too,
think,
because I think it's more motivating. You know, like the guys outside, they're like cheering for you, and you know, I think it's much more challenging if you go in your house and you put the ice, create the ice bath there, and you go inside alone. I think it's harder, you know. So yeah, if you guys have any question, you know, we talked about questioning, and the more you question in a healthy way, in a intelligent way, the more you learn. You know, I cannot say enough how much I've been learning from the students for these little questions.
Yeah.
And actually on the video today, we're gonna show what one of the students questioned, this guy that always asks like crazy, smart jiu-jitsu questions, where that question bring us and what we end up discussing about that situation there from the Kimura rider variation.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit video after. So to finish the podcast, we can we're gonna have a little segment after that's gonna be called like what stopped me from doing this. That's the question that
What
the student
stopped me to doing this?
and that's the common question that the student asks. So just to honor him because he has that question all the time, it would be cool to have that same phrase as him. And then in the future, we will have another segment that will be pretty funny. That another student give us a little feedback on it that will be funny. So we're gonna do that, and then yeah. Any final thoughts?
That's it, man. We talk about one of the hardest thing in life. That's control your emotions, make the best of who you are. I think this is just a very small conversation. We shared a little bit what we think about that. Doesn't mean that's right and wrong. We are open to learn more, and there is nothing that you can fight to master more than have your control your intelligence in your brain.
It's the hardest one. I think it's the hardest
It's a hard one. It's a very hard one. Okay, so if you have any comments or any feedback, please bring it to us. Otherwise, come train jiu-jitsu in the gym, master